Next up is the most powerful class in drag racing, producing around about 8,000 horsepower. Now here at the finals, the championship for this class is still wide open. The title can be won by any of 5 drivers. It's top Fuel Dragsters.
Well, it is top fuel time, but unfortunately, the main contender for the championship is missing. Let's find out right now why.
So Keith, we're here at the European finals at SantaPod, and one of the topics of conversation is that Tommy Johnson Jr., who had runaway points lead going into Hockenheim, isn't here. So what is that situation?
Yeah, I think a bit of a setback and a surprise to everybody. As you say, you had a runaway lead coming into Hockenheim, and then suddenly he wasn't running anymore. I think everyone had more or less given up on the championship. The other team said, well, we're all fighting for second place going into Hockenheim. When Tommy was suddenly not allowed to run anymore, it opened the championship up completely. What caused that? It was a fairly important infringement of FIA regulations, of which he had an initial suspension in the middle of July. That had 2 natural appeals, the process that you go through. There was a final appeal, which of course was after Hockenheim, prior to the European finals, and the suspension was upheld. The bottom line from Tommy Johnson's point of view is he's now suspended from FIA competition until July next year. From the championship's point of view, of course, racers are racers. They're all very sorry for Tommy, but there were probably some wry smiles on their faces, because now, coming into the last round at SantaPod, there were 4 teams, open contenders, and 4 drivers, should I say, contenders for the championship. And what we've ended up seeing this weekend is brutal fighting between those 4 teams, no matter what the conditions, to fight to try and win the championship.
Well, sadly, we have a few retirements from our sport in this programme. One of those, the man in top fuel for many years, Great Britain's Andy Carter.
Are you really retiring?
Really retiring, John. It's been a long time, 30 years in the sport, 16 years in top fuel, and it's just got to come to an end sometime, and now seems a good time to stop.
But you're such a young man. I mean, not like me. I mean, sort of aging old dinosaur. You're still a youngster.
Well, maybe, yeah, it's all relative, isn't it? But, you know, it's there's a lot going on in my life besides drag racing, with my son, Albert, who's very heavily into karting, and he's taking 34 weekends of the year for me. And that's a big commitment, and I need to do one or the other properly.
So that's what's going to happen. So Andy Carter, going to be a crew chief for Albert, or?
More of a manager, and try and push him in the right direction and help him in his career in motorsport, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of him in the future. I've got another 10 years ahead of me helping him, so it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy.
We're going to miss you in this sport, old boy, because, you know, if anybody can upset anybody, you can, and you always throw the spanner in the works for people who think they're going to win. Don't you think you're going to miss that?
I think I am going to miss it, John. I'm going to miss the whole atmosphere of drag racing, all the lovely people, and this weekend has really reinforced it. You know, the amount of people that have come up and said great things to me, and it's really humbling, and there's so many great people in this sport, and so many, just everyone. I love them all, and I'm going to miss it, but I've got to do what's right.
Well, you never know. One day we could be saying Albert Carter, European top fuel champ. One man who wants to defend his title from Switzerland is Urs Urbacher.
There's quite a few of you could sneak in and take this championship this year.
Yeah, it's always the same thing for us. Last year was the same situation for us to get it, and this year is a little bit better for us, for our team. So I think we can get them if the weather comes back and we have a good racetrack tomorrow. Yes, we can do it.
Now, how was the racetrack yesterday? Because you were qualifying yesterday. You're in about number 3 spot, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, it was. They changed something on the start line, so all the teams have a lot of problems. So the most teams only go down on the left line, and we really try the right lane too and make the same time on the right line. So we are happy we have a good setup for both lines. So we try to go a little bit faster on that one to be number 1 qualifier for tomorrow.
Well, qualifying in top fuel was spectacular. Nothing more spectacular than night top fuel racing. Risto Pudiainen from Finland in with a shout of the title.
You must be feeling, though, the championship could now be within your grasp. This was your 3-year plan, was to get the championship here. I remember you telling me that. And that must be feeling as though you can reach out and touch it now.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I already gave up, in Hockenheim because there was no chance anymore. Tom Johnson was so much ahead, but I need some luck to finalize this. But I go one lap at a time, and I don't even think about it.
Well, this was his absolute thing of beauty night qualifying run. He was not qualified till this point. Ended up with a 4.91 second elapsed time. Qualified number 2, but it was Urs Verbacher at number 1. Any one of those top 3 drivers can take home the title this weekend. And moving into round 1, Urs against Patrick Pez, Stig Neergaard against Jari Halonen, Risto against Timo, and Anita against Miki Kagarad. And our first pair will be from Finland, Jari Halonen up against Stig Neergaard. It was both Stig and his son trying to qualify in Top Fuel this weekend, John.
Yeah, indeed, and Stig Neergaard got in there at the number 4 spot. Jari Halonen, number 5. So these of our top 8 qualifiers are the closest you can get. So that means that should transmit into the racing format, and these should be the closest on the racetrack. So here we go. Up to the start line for the pair of them, and problems for Stig. You can see the crew wheeling the car away. Jari on his own, just cruising through, doesn't need to break anything. He's through into the next round. And another lady who has a chance of taking the championship this year is from Finland, Anita Mäkelä.
You could win this championship.
That's right. And last night I have slept smile on my face because I have to enjoy every moment. They are not so often, but when it comes, let's take everything out of that. Yes, I have a good car, so let's see.
And at the moment, it looks like it could be a Finnish fight for the title.
That's right. Wow.
Which Finn is going to take it? That's the question.
That's the question, and we know the answer by Sunday evening.
Well, Anita being very philosophical but non-committal, I think, is the way to put that. She comes out in round number 1 against Miki Kagarad. These two have raced each other so many times, both in Top Methanol and in Top Fuel. Now then, they're both in with a shout of the title. Oh, and Anita smokes the tyres instantly on the line. Miki grenades another engine, unfortunately for him. He's through, and Anita is out.
Hey, what happened there? That looked bad from this angle.
I almost say holy cow, but let's say holy chicken. This is not what's gonna do. It's gonna smoke immediately. This is something what happened already in Hockenheim. We don't understand how this can happen.
And that's the championship gone, Tommy, as well.
It's gone now, and well, but next year is coming.
All right. Well.
And I still love my wife.
Well, he still may love his wife. I'm not sure if she loves the crew after that. I am just kidding. They're all great friends. It's just a big shame to see us smoke the tyres in round 1. Good for Miki Kagarad. Got a lot of work for the crew just to get ready for round 2.
Yeah, here we go then. Next pair coming up here. And both of these guys, championship contenders, got to be said here. The man in the yellow dragster, Timo Lehtomäki, Risto Putiainen in the black and red car. Bad to the bone, he likes to be known as. Now then, away we go. Oh, and look at this, great drag racing Top Fuel. It is Risto who takes the win. He's through into the next round. What a great run from him. And no wonder the crew are so excited. That was a great drag race.
Yeah, indeed it was. Timo Lehtomäki a bit late off the line. No mistake at all for Risto. Fantastic run from start line to finish line. Rune Fjeld and the crew done a perfect job on that car overnight. His championship chances still alive. Sadly, not for Timo. Timo actually came into this weekend number 2 in the points. Not going to leave like that.
Okay, well, here's our final possible championship contender. Robin Grice, the crew chief there, just making final adjustments. It's Robin's last weekend with the team as well. running alongside Patrick Pears, a new man into this class, was previously in Pro Modified, and Urs makes no mistake at all. He takes the win with a 4.79. He is doing so well. Let's have a word with Mark from Patrick Pears' team. Hey, Mark, good run.
Well, it's our first year, as you know, in competition, John. We were quite surprised we got this far. We went out in tap earlier in the year. We didn't qualify. We decided to wait until next year, and then we thought, no, we'll give it a go at SantaPod. Best track in Europe, so we're happy to come here. We're pleased we qualified. We went out first round, but we've learnt a lot, and we hope to be back next year.
Well, replay of that race. Patrick gave Urs all he could handle for the first half of the racetrack till the engine went away. But low ET of the weekend so far. 4.79 for Urs Urbacher and a retiring crew led by Robin. But unfortunately, this was the end for Andy Carter as well, retiring from Top Fuel Drag Racing, idles the car up the racetrack, waving to all the crowd, and his crew very poignantly stand on the start line, giving them all a cheer back as well. We're going to miss you, Andy, and please come back soon.
Yeah, I thought that was so well done. So well done. And a very hard-working, deserving crew as well. Crew Chief Ben Allen there directly in the middle of the picture. But this sets up our semi-finals.
Yeah, Urs due to race Jari and Risto due to race Mickey Kagarad. And the first semi-final was that one I mentioned just there. Now, the crew for Mickey Kagarad, loads of work, but it all went wrong on the line.
Well, it would have been nicer to have lost on the track. What happened?
We blew the gasket on the oil filter when we started up. So,
end of story.
End of that story, yeah, that's for sure.
But things are definitely getting better, aren't they?
Yeah, I really think so, and the performance has been better all year long. So, yeah, it feels a lot better, but it has been nicer to run for it, that's for sure.
Well, by virtue of that, Risto gets a bye into the final. And a half-track run shuts off just before that to save the engine. But he will be in the final, so he will race for the title. Now, all the pressure is on the next race with Urs.
Yeah, before we look at that, let's just watch this start line with Risto Putianin. So strong away from the start line. I tell you what, let's have a few words with Urs Urbacher. Of course, he's last year's champion. What are his thoughts about going forward now?
As this is what we love about drag racing, through to the semis, and for Top Fuel, it's still all open in terms of championship title hopes.
Yeah, that's really great for the spectators, for sure. For us, it's a little bit makes us a little bit nervous, but my guys some of the guys after this year, they quit after 30, actually, Robin, and we will take that championship for him.
Well, sounding just as confident as usual there. Urs Urbacher racing alongside Jari Halonen, but unfortunately Jari couldn't get the car out of reverse after backing up from the burnout, so Urs gets a freebie into the final, where he will race Risto Putiainen for the 2011 crown. Winner takes all in the Top Fuel final. We couldn't have scripted it any better, could we, John?
Absolutely perfect. And of course, you have to remember that Urs Urbacher was last year's champion, and wouldn't it be a feather in his cap to be champion 2 years running? Risto Putiainen from Finland, however, has set his store out. As I said during my interview with him, he told me 3 years ago he had a 3-year plan to become the champion. This could be the culmination of those 3 years of trying. So here we are, Risto Putiainen with lane choice. He's elected to go for the left-hand lane against Urs Urbacher.
And both the way for the line, they both smoke the tyres. They're pedalling, they're driving, they're pedalling. It's Risto and Urs. And it will be the big guy from Switzerland taking the win and another European Top Fuel crown back home with him. The times are terrible, no one cares. Urs Urbacher wins.
As the twists and turns of this sport are nothing short of amazing. Before Hockenheim, I didn't think that I'd be speaking to you in this position, and then what a final to do it in.
Yeah, we know that. We have the best crew in the world, and I know the spirit in this crew is so great. We know we can come over here and win the race and win the championship, and we did it. That's great.
And it is an amazing atmosphere in here at the moment. You've got your crew, they've started to open up some alcoholic beverages, which they so deserve. But what a great feeling for you all.
Yeah, we've been working really hard the whole weekend, and now it starts the party on, and I hope it's open. It's an open end tomorrow morning, and then we load everything and go home with the championship. That's great.
Well, replay of that final from up the top end. Look at that. Flames going on and off in both lanes. It looked like Risto had it there, but then he was dead in the water, and Urs just got over the finish line first to be 2011 European Top Fuel champ. A huge shame for the Andersons and Tommy Johnson Jr. They couldn't close out the season. We really hope to see him back next year.